After the insane success of Star Wars in 1977, every movie studio was ravenous to try and replicate that blockbuster appeal. Audiences were on board, for the most part, and would try just about anything in the science fiction or space fantasy realm. One movie that tried to replicate the formula, while having some fun with it, was 1984's The Ice Pirates. The typical setting for a space fantasy of the distant future sees water as the most scarce resource. Mining in space is a huge industry, and pirates look to steal the ice from anywhere and anyone they can. One band of pirates, led by Jason, played by Robert Urich, hits a Templar ship to steal their ice. Jason and his second-in-command, Roscoe, played by Michael D. Roberts, board the enemy vessel with their robot called Nanny, played by Natalie Core. The crew gets more than they bargained for when they find Princess Karina, played by Mary Crosby, aboard the targeted ship. They kidnap the girl, planning to ransom her. Karina shares stories of a mythical planet that is said to have an abundant supply of natural water. Karina and her kidnappers form a shaky alliance to go in search of this planet. This newly formed group faces a ton of obstacles you'd expect to see in a movie like this. Other pirates, low-rent space creatures, the Templars who they originally attacked, and a military group that has an iron fist on the galaxy's water supply. This group needs to stop anyone from finding the water-filled planet for fear it would end their stranglehold. Jason's crew is more than just himself, Roscoe, and Nanny. I totally forgot Anjelica Huston and Ron Perlman round out the cast as Maida and Zeno, respectively. I would have guessed critics as a whole hated this movie, but when it came out, it actually came out to some mixed reviews. I know it's not the highest praise, but it does show that even some critics appreciated the effort. Other critics found it campy and disjointed, which it absolutely is, and I guess it just depends what you're looking to get out of a movie like Ice Pirates. It was pretty clear to me when I first saw Ice Pirates, about 20 years after it was released, that they wanted to capitalize on the Star Wars fever. It also came out when parodies of major movies were a huge success. Trying to be a Star Wars clone and parody at the same time is a great idea. See Spaceballs. And director Stuart Raphael definitely gave it a shot, but it didn't work out quite as well as it did for Mel Brooks. Pirates is a movie for teenagers to watch with their friends on a break from high school, where they're eating the worst kinds of food that next to no money could buy. They're staying up until dawn playing video games and watching movies. This oddly specific example is how I saw Ice Pirates. It was somewhere in the first few years of the 2000s. Me and some friends were hanging out, flipping through channels when cable was still something my generation cared about. It had to have been on Sci-Fi or Spike or some other network like that. We caught it right near the beginning and laughed all the way through. One ridiculous scene that stands out in my memory is the big showdown near the end. I guess here's your spoiler warning for a 40-year-old goofy movie. There's a big fight scene where all the characters are also stuck in an unpredictable time warp. The characters rapidly and randomly age in both directions. They get old, have long beards, and a second later are babies that grow back into the character's original age. The special effects, or not so special by today's standards, were ambitious push for the movie, and the ridiculousness of it was a lot of fun. And I have to mention, for anyone who's seen The Ice Pirates, you have to remember Space Herpes. Yeah, it's over the top, even in this movie, and more a parody on Alien than Star Wars, but it's absolutely a memorable scene, and Space Herpes is just funny to say. I had fond memories of Ice Pirates, so when So Wizard's own Joey recommended it for a retrospective, I was excited to dive back in. I put the movie on after had not seen it for a couple decades. I was alone, and it wasn't 2 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't hopped up on sugar or deliriously tired. I watched some of the highlights and jumped around as a refresher, but I decided Ice Pirates was better kept as a memory. If movies that are so bad they're great is your thing, then this movie is absolutely for you.